yesterday, her Panthers took Tetairoa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona, with the 8th overall selection. There was a collective groan from Panthers fans. I saw several online arguments. I did not take part in any. My read is that, man, if they could have traded out, they probably would have. And maybe they would have traded back and been able to take Tetairoa McMillan. But nobody was interested enough to trade up to number 8. So they just took the guy they wanted to take anyway at number 8. Maybe I'm wrong. Mike Felder. It's Felder, the Substack, Sirius XM. He is everywhere at In the Bleachers on Twitter. Sir, thank you so much. I'm told it's a busy time, so I appreciate you carving out some of yours for us. Did the Panthers take a player worthy of the 8th overall pick in Tetairoa McMillan?
I think they got the best wide receiver in the draft.
Okay.
So, I mean, you tell me. Like, I think if you can get the best wide receiver in the draft, sure. Could they have got some other guys? But the reality of it is you got to give Bryce some weapons. If you're not going to draft an offensive lineman, oh, sorry, hang on, let me close this thing down because I'm in a hotel room right now.
Oh, we're Mike Felder is in a hotel. So for the people listening on the radio, did you just close the blinds or something?
Yeah, just close the curtain.
Fine.
I'm in a hotel room right now, trying to get ready for day 2 of the draft. We're doing that on the BR app and on Mac,
That's
BR
right.
on Macs. So, but no, I think I like T-Mac. I think he's a really good football player. I think that the reality for me is people haven't seen him.
Right.
That's the reality. People haven't seen him. He reminds me a lot of. I'm going through my spreadsheets right now because I got to get them printed out. He reminds me a lot of Keenan Allen.
Okay.
Keenan Allen is actually a guy from North Carolina. But Keenan Allen is someone that is reliable, finds a way to get to the football. This guy, you see how big he is? 6'4" and change?
Yeah. And if he gets his hands on it, it's a catch.
It's his. Like, what's not to like about this when you have a young quarterback, still young, who's trying to get his bearings in the NFL? If you're not going to go out and get one of these offensive linemen, okay. And I think there are a lot of offensive linemen that they can get day 2, day 3. They can get those guys. So they can still continue to build up the offensive line to keep Bryce Young standing, up. And then you got to figure out what you're going to do on defense. I was very surprised to see like the lack of defensive backs picked in this draft. Like just draft overall, not just the Panthers, but lack of defensive backs drafted in that first round. So which means we'll probably see a run on them today, which I'm excited for because that's when they let me shine on the show.
I mean, the Will Johnson is sitting there.
Yeah, I know. That's like I thought he was the best like true corner.
Right. You told us that a month ago.
Yeah, and when I say that, I know that Travis Hunter has a lot more skills. Will Johnson's longer, he's bigger, and he also is not asking you to let him play wide receiver too. He's just all he wants to do is play corner. That's all he wants to do, and he didn't go in the first round. So we'll see. We saw Malachi Starks as the only safety, I believe, that got picked in the first round.
Yep.
So R.J. Mickens, oh my gosh, I love him. So there's a lot of opportunity if you're looking for something in the secondary.
All right, let me ask you real quick because one of the debates I saw, and I was messing around with the mock draft simulator for like 2 days over and over and over again. I don't know. Apparently I have too much time on my hands. And I kept taking for the Panthers Tyler Warren. Would Warren have been a better pick as a weapon for Bryce Young than Tetairoa McMillan?
That's a really hard question to answer because I love Warren. And we've talked about this before, and it's the hardest thing to talk about because he's like a bigger Aaron Hernandez. But we know that Aaron Hernandez is a bad man.
Yeah, and no longer signing. So,
yeah, but no, I look at it and it depends on how you use him, and that's the thing. And I'll be honest, I don't trust the Panthers. I don't trust what they're doing right now.
Right. Okay.
In the words of my co-host Stephen Hartzell, they are a very unserious organization at this point, and so. It is, I don't know that they would let this guy do what he does best, which is like the shovel pass, line up in the take direct snaps, line up flex, motion him out or shift him out and do all the things that he does really well, all the things that make him work, all the things that make him dangerous, I don't know if they would let him do all those things.
Meaning Warren, all the things that make Warren dangerous.
Warren.
Yeah.
Yes, Warren. So I think getting McMillan is that's a more straight line approach.
Right.
See ball, get ball, let's go, let's play some football.
Mike Felder, it's Felder, the Substack, also SiriusXM, the Bleacher Report app. They can do the draft coverage this evening. All right, so who is? Let me ask you about Shedeur Sanders before we get into best available player and all of that. What's your level of surprise, and why do you think Shedeur Sanders is still sitting there in day 2?
On a level of 1 to 10, it's a 12.
Right.
But also, that's my personal surprise with who he is as a player.
Right.
But then I start to talk to people that, talk to people, our buddy Jonathon Jones, and you talk to Connor. I talked to my guy Connor Rogers, and I talked to a couple folks, like people that actually played in the NFL. The NFL does not like when you don't need them. The NFL they do not like it. They don't like that. Like
right.
When he came in, he was like he came in and was expecting okay, what are you going to do for me? Listen, this is Deion's kid.
Yeah.
This is a guy that made a video called "Must Be the Money," and if he goes undrafted, he's just going to go work for his dad. He doesn't need the money.
Right. Well, he obviously he made a lot of money in college too. Right.
To me, that's more admirable. These guys are out there having multiple car crashes every game because they want to make sure they secure the health and safety of their family. His dad already did that. He's playing football. He's putting his body at risk because he loves football. But it feels like it threatens owners, threatens, GMs. They don't like the idea that he could hang it up. It's the same thing with Andrew Luck, but Andrew Luck, I think, was just obviously a much better talent.
Yeah.
But it was Andrew Luck's it's fine. I'll be done. I don't care.
He did that.
And he did do it. And now he's coaching at Stanford. And guess what? If Shedeur doesn't like what's going on, guess where he'll be coaching at? Colorado. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens today. I'm sure we're going to have this is going to be a big part of our pre-show meeting.
Sure.
But I do think that the NFL, they're so used to, and I don't know if predatory is the right word, but it's the word I'm going to use. They're so used to this predatory labor force that they can labor force that they can prey on that needs them.
Yep.
And is trying to get them on the cheapest they can. And I think that's the big reason that people keep saying arrogant and cocky, and it's he's not arrogant or cocky. He knows he's good. Kid threw for over 70% completions.
Right.
So many touchdowns. He's so comfortable in the pocket. He doesn't have to kowtow to you. He doesn't have to. You pick me or you don't. I don't care. But I'll take these meetings and I'll do it. But I know that I'm better. He knows he's better than Jackson Dart.
Right. Do you think he's better than Jackson Dart?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. Are you kidding me? I like Jackson Dart a lot.
Right.
But Jackson Dart is a plussed up Will Levis. What is this conversation even? So I just don't I'll tell you what, tonight we will know that this is a problem of pride and ego from an NFL GM, NFL owner standpoint. If we see Jalen Milroe go before Shedeur, if we see Tyler Shuck go before Shedeur, if we see that happen, then we know that we've got a problem. And I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm not going to blow up his spot, but he said there's also a lot of issue with how Deion was to teams when he was playing.
Gotcha.
So it's the same ownership groups.
Pretty much,
they didn't like that Deion would Deion only after the Falcons. Who did Deion play for after the Falcons?
Well, Falcons, he went 49ers, Cowboys, Washington, Baltimore.
Right. And he would not take meetings with some of these teams. And it seems like these teams don't want to take his kid. Because the other part is you also got to deal with Deion.
You do.
And he's not some bum off the street, right? He's not some guy who's like, yay, Hercules. My kid made it to the NFL.
Right.
He is very focused on the business of the NFL. He understands, and I think about this a lot, and to piggyback on what I do, which is mostly college football, think about it with NIL as well. This guy doesn't care. He has money. He's going to keep having money.
Right.
And his kid's going to keep having money. And so what he's focused on is putting his kid in the best position, and he's not going to let you talk to his kid any kind of way. And so you're going to have to deal with an NFL Hall of Famer,
right,
who can guide his kid through something that for most people is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. What we're looking at right now, realistically, what we're looking at is a second, and maybe if Shiloh gets picked in the next, today or tomorrow, we're looking at a third time that this has happened.
Yeah.
And one of them is a Hall of Famer. So they know what they're doing.
Mike
They
Felder.
don't like that. They don't like it.
Mike Felder, it's Felder, the Substack. Check it out. Also, Bleacher Report on the app. They'll be doing draft coverage tonight, Sirius XM as well. All right, so the Panthers need a lot. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't taken anything. They didn't take a defensive player with their first pick. I'm okay. Whatever they did, it's clear that like all of these players are about the same level in terms of their overall impact on the game. They went and got Bryce Young a weapon. That's fine. Give me an idea of who the best, because they need safety. I also think they need cornerback. So they're picking 25th or so in the second round. Who are cornerbacks and safeties that might be there when they pick to keep an eye on? I
mean, based on what's happening, they might be able to get, Nick Imawari. Like, that's what's crazy. These guys are, like, I went through the list of the safeties that got picked, and it was Malachi Starks from Georgia. I think we're going to see a run on safeties today, so maybe that's a trade to trade up and get that. But the reality is, whether it's Xavier Watts, kid from Notre Dame, kind of a jack of all trades, reminds me a little bit of like a larger Tyrann Mathieu. Like, he finds the ball, he's able to punch it out, he can do all those things. Lathan Ransom from Ohio State is another one. Mm-hmm. That's going to be really interesting for me to see where he ends up falling. So I'm looking forward to it. But the way that I'm going to be honest with you. The way that they are treating linebackers, safeties in this draft, in the draft in general, I find it to be quite sickening. Because those are the backbones, like, not the backbones. The backbone of your defense is your defensive line. I understand that. Your edge rushers. But these are the guys. Look, and I've made this analogy many times. The Panthers, what they did is they went out and they bought a roof. Bryce Young. Right. They went out and they bought a roof. Where are you putting it?
Right. They needed to. They did not build the house first. They put the roof on first.
Right. Offensive line. That's your foundation. Defensive line. Those are the bricks on your brick house. And then, but the linebackers and the safeties and your tight ends, that's your pipes, that's your electrical. Like, you got a house, look, if something happened with your pipes, you're in trouble.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
So I just think that the key for them is I think safeties are so important, especially in today's NFL, because they are your glue guys. It used to be that linebackers, like in the days of like Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, like those were the guys that you had to like fully rely on all the time. But the reality for me is you have to have a safety that can do, like, what do the kids say? Get you someone that could do both. Yeah. And you have to have that. And there are a bunch of guys that I really like. And I think later in the draft, I think Shiloh is a good pick, probably on day 3. Not on day 2, but on day 3, I think Shiloh Sanders is a good pick because he reminds me a little bit of a guy, Deion Bush. But he spent a good amount of time in the NFL. Yeah. Like, and he knows what he's doing, and he can do a bunch of things, and he's going to help you on special teams. I think, again, if Xavier Watts is there, I'm scooping him up no matter what. Like, that's an instant pick. And, again, I don't know what's going on with Will Johnson, corner, or Nick Imawari, right, a safety. And I think people don't know I do know what's going on with Imawari. People don't know what to do with him. Because he could do so many things. He could be Cam Chancellor. Right. He could be Isaiah Simmons.
I was thinking the same guy.
Or he could be Thomas Davis.
Those are all good things, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Isaiah Simmons has never really hit, right?
He's had flashes.
Right. The other guys hit.
The other guys hit, yeah. But he's had flashes. He's shown flashes. And so I just think that you've got to figure out what you want to do with him. And I think teams are scared because when you pick a tweener and you don't know what to do with them, then it makes you look stupid, especially if they go somewhere else, which is I think what we're seeing with Simmons. They go somewhere else and then they become a real deal player. So this is going to be a wild tonight and tomorrow.
All right, I need two more things from Mike Felder before we let him go. The first is, who is the best edge rusher left on the board?
I really like JT from Ohio State.
Right. I can't say his name either. Good. You've got a lot of time to figure that out. Yeah, fine.
I got it. I love him. He's big effort guy, big energy. I like Ashton Gillett and the kid from Louisville.
Okay.
I like him a lot. And
what about Mike Green from Marshall?
Mike Green from Marshall is good. I do like him. The biggest thing for me, and I think about this a lot, and I thought about it with Ashton Genty, I'm glad he didn't get penalized for it. When you're not playing in a major conference,
right,
it's like a double step up. And that's the part that's going to be really interesting, is how Mike Green, how he steps up, because I think he's a really good football player. We just haven't seen as much as we saw of guys like that we saw get drafted last night, like Mykel Williams and Carter. So this is going to be it's going to be a busy day.
Right. One more thing. Defensive tackle, because I think you can make an argument the Panthers should take another one of those, even though they address that position in free agency. You can certainly be nice to have one on your roster for at least another 4 years. So do you like Zadarius Alexander from Toledo or TJ Sanders from South Carolina? I mean, is there anybody of the available defensive tackles that stands out to you?
So I like both of those guys. I like them both. I'm going to throw this out there, and I don't know if it's a second or third round thing, or maybe it's a day 3 thing. I like J.J. Pegues. J.J. Pegues from Ole Miss. I like him a lot. Super athletic guy, can move. And again, once you get him pointed in the right direction, I think he's going to be able to go out and make plays. So I like J.J. Pegues. The kid from Oregon, Caldwell.
Okay.
I really like him. I also think Jordan Birch is certainly a day 2 prospect. Kid that started out at South Carolina, highly touted kid coming out of high school.
Right.
And ends up at Oregon. I think that he is super, I think that's a viable option as well, in addition to the names that you mentioned. So this will be, it's going to be, they're going to have to make a decision. That's the whole thing, is you have to make a decision. And Pegues, Birch, they demonstrated high level of athleticism. So those are the guys that I'd be targeting. Obviously, you mentioned TJ Sanders, which is another one, and I just think that there's a lot of defensive line talent. And then, I'm scrolling up right now.
Okay.
Tyler Barron at Miami.
Right.
I've got him listed as a 5-tech, but this is a guy that can kick down inside. Same thing with Ingram Dawkins from Georgia. He can play 5, kick down inside, especially on pass rush downs. So there's a lot of, and I try really hard to separate my 5-techs from my defensive tackles.
Sure. I don't even know what the difference is, but that's fine, because there are people out there who do, and that's okay. So I just nod my head.
So you get your center, right? Right here in the middle.
Yeah.
Guard.
Right.
Tackle.
Right.
Over the center. 0.
Okay.
Shade. Line up here. That's a 1.
Okay.
Then you're here. You're a 2.
Okay.
3.
Okay.
So your guard's here. That's your 3.
Gotcha.
Tackle. 4-eye is when you're lined up inside the tackle.
Okay.
4-eye. Eye for inside.
Okay, and 5 is over the tackle?
Is on top of the tackle.
There you go. Now I just learned something.
Yeah. And then you can get to your sevens over outside tight end.
Oh, man.
Then you get to your wide nines, which is what Florida State used to do back in the day when they ruled the ACC.
Right.
Wide nines, just guys in racer stances ready to go get the quarterback.
Right.
So, yes.
That something like that is what the Panthers might need, but they need a lot. They need a lot on defense. Mike Felder. It's Felder, the Substack. Get it. I appreciate you pulling the shades for us, but I didn't mind the light shining on your beautiful face. So enjoy the draft, day 2. I know day 2 and day 3 are I think day 3 is your favorite day.
Yeah,
but
they're fun.
Enjoy it.
I get to do day 3 with Connor Rogers, a guy that I've been friends with for a long time, who left Bleacher Report to go work for NBC New York, and they brought him back to do day 3 because it's a slog. It's hard. It hurts, but you got to get it done. And then after day 3, you know what I'm doing? My favorite thing in the world.
Cooking.
I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go get in an Uber and go to the airport. My daughter's got a swim meet.
Love it.
On Sunday, so I'm gonna go get to be a dad, which is really cool.
You're the man. I appreciate your time, bro. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. You take it easy.
You got it. Mike Felder here on the Adam Gold Show.